morning, everyone. What a fabulous morning it is.
I mean,
absolutely beautiful, and this view is to die for.
I'll just show everybody. We had a lovely night last night, and there's a lovely church over there. That's where we moored just around that bend, and it really is as nice and moored as we've ever been, isn't it, Linda?
Yeah.
So we're off today towards Leicester. 9 locks is it on the first page of our little book. That should keep us busy.
Right, coming up to my first lock of the day, Newton Top Lock. Looks like this one and the next one are fairly close, so I'll just walk to them. Can't be bothered to get on and off the boat.
Remember, there's a bigger gap, is there?
Then there's a bigger gap with a winding hole in between.
Okay, so yeah, we'll walk to these two. Lovely, isn't it?
Absolutely beautiful. Got my sunnies on.
Beautiful.
Life couldn't be better.
Nice hair.
It couldn't have been worse.
It's a beautiful
but
day.
It is a lot better.
We've had some rubbish so far this holiday, and we're making up for it now. Very nice. Right, one more up and get ready. Just noticed an unusual sign on this lock gate. Please don't let the swans through the lock. There's a rival family ahead and they will fight. That leads to a question, Linda.
Say that again?
That leads to a question. Who's going to stop them?
Who's going to stop the swans? Who's going to move the swans?
I'm not stopping an angry swan.
No, me neither.
Right, let's lock these gates before the swans come.
Luckily there's no swans here today.
No, lucky. So through that lock, Linda left the right hand gate open, sorry, closed, and then when she opened the other one, so I'll go through one gate that swung wide open. So I think we're going to have a bit of a game here trying to shut them both. So a bit of tragedy on the cut there. I was wondering why he was moored on the lock landing, that boat, and apparently Linda's just been chatting to the chap up there. What's it say?
The boat was called Jem and Megan, and unfortunately he tied up, moored up to close the gates, closed one of the gates and then had a heart attack.
And died.
And the police came, you know, obviously somebody came. He was walking down and he says, you know, is that what I think it is? And he says, yeah. Fortunately, he says, no suspicious circumstances, just unfortunately passed away. Suspected heart attack.
Oh, poor man. Now we've got the dodgy attacked swans.
Well, they've been fed.
Well, that helps.
So they should be all right. And I managed to get them out of the lock. They're great fun. I've been opening paddles left, right and centre.
I could see you stuck in there trying to get them through.
Well, I let the paddles out at the far one, push it down. That also let a bit more water in, so that I could close it, because that gate just kept opening. Apparently it's a bit leaky. Well, it is leaky, as you can see. So it just kept floating open.
It's a rather an eventful lock, that one, really. A lot going on. Thought we had a bad day the other day in the rain. Not as bad as that poor bloke.
I know.
What a shame.
Just goes to prove, enjoy every minute of every day if you can.
Well, I'm sure it's no consolation to a chap, but it's a fantastic, beautiful surroundings. And I suppose if you've got to choose somewhere to go, here or in a city somewhere, I know where I'd choose. Oh well, onwards and upwards, the next lock beckons. Out that lock, and that's another YouTuber, Bearded Chris Explores. Hi Chris. Now, if I can avoid these reeds, we've got a bit of a stretch for the next one, haven't we, Linda?
Yep.
We're at the lock now, number 4 I think. Yeah, number 4 we've done. Number 5's just down there. Beautiful scene. I mean, it really is just stunning. I know we're always waxing lyrical about the countryside, but it's just so nice. Obviously that's where we've come from. And lock's about ready to go. I think the next one's all full anyway. So I've pulled it through a few locks and told anyone I was single-handed, that's what I did a lot of, because it makes it easier. It's a bit windy, so just thought, yeah, I'll just pull this through, it's easier. Linda, fancy to go?
Quite easy, isn't it?
Once you get going it is, just make sure you keep it off that lock gate on that side. You have to pull it strong this way because it's quite windy. And you've got to feed that over the lock gate. We were just saying how well greased these lock mechanisms are on this bit of canal. They're really easy to use, but you have to be very careful because you get covered in grease. That's it. And then down the steps and jump on. And they're steep. So I jumped back on at the bottom. Couldn't film that bit because we were a bit busy. Linda's walking to the next one, which is full. In fact, a lot of gates have just opened a little bit. I can see a gap, so she might not have to do anything. Well, under the gate, obviously. So next lock, and since we met Bearded Chris Explorer, a YouTuber, obviously all the locks have been set correctly for us. He came up, we're coming down. So this one, the gates just opened straight away with a push. One or two dropped about an inch. It's really been quite easy. Makes our life easy is life easy. So we're making a really good progress. Meanwhile, enjoying the beautiful countryside. So we've just come out the 7th lock of 9 today. There's 2 more on the page in the book we're on until you sort of be out of it to Leicester. Well, not quite Leicester, but you know, towards there. But it's 1 o'clock. It's been a hard morning despite most of the locks being in our favour. But we've had a nice time, thoroughly enjoyed it. It's time for a sit down and something to eat, some lunch. So we're going to find a nice mooring spot, moor up for half an hour or so, and we'll crack on. But it's been a really successful morning. It's been beautiful. I mean, you just can't complain of the sights we've been seeing. I mean, this is the kind of thing just everywhere you go. Isn't it stunning? There's a lovely bridge. Right, get up more in place. We're just approaching the 2nd lock on the new page. This is our 11th lock today, isn't it, Linda?
Yep.
And you might be able to tell, I'm not sure if you can see from there, but both the front gates are open. So we're going to cruise straight in and just lock the gates and hooray, that speeds us up. So we've just done the first of the 2 locks in Glen Parva, is it, Linda, I think? Yeah, Glen Parva or something like that it's called. We've got another 3 and then we're right on the outskirts of Leicester, and it looks quite countryside, which I always like staying in the country, not in towns. So we're going to find a mooring space either after 2nd or 3rd lock, probably after the 3rd. But yeah, I reckon about another 3/4 of an hour if we're lucky. I'm getting a bit tired. It's been a good day though. Lovely weather, you really can't complain. Well, we've moored up after a long day, haven't we?
Yeah, longish.
Was that 16 locks?
15. 15.
9 and 7, weren't it?
No, 9 and 6. We haven't done the 7th one.
Oh yeah, no we haven't. So yeah, a lot of locks, nice hot day. A bit hot, but not too hot at all. And we've now got a nice mooring. We're just south of Leicester, aren't we? So
yeah, so hopefully tomorrow we'll just be able to go through Leicester, get through the other side, back out into the country. Which
is what we like best. So that's it, we're done for tonight.
Good morning. Well, this is a change, me on the camera. Well, here we are. We've had a very pleasant evening. It was lovely yesterday. A bit cloudier today, but still looking good, looking good. So we're on the last lock before we hit Leicester. Having a bit of an early start this morning. We're going all tickety-boo, thinking yep, and then what do we have here?
Yeah, a prop covered in stuff.
We've just done about 100 yards and the prop shaft started to go ooh instead of boo. And so we have Mr. Baker here with his hands in the prop.
Yeah.
Have you got anything exciting?
Not a lot, there's quite a lot there. I'll do it bit by bit. There's the first bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a very pleasant sight, is it?
Oh yeah. Well, it felt a lot worse. I mean, it was really struggling, but
I know it was.
There's not a whole lot there, but it was quite tight round, so I think I've done it.
Oh,
so
that all?
And we can crack on.
That wasn't exciting, was it?
No.
No tent.
We're at the lock anyway, so.
Nothing. Anyway, I'll get on and do my normal job.
Well, weed hatch sorted out. Weren't too bad, but it's better now. We're at Bridge 106. We're approaching Ayleston Mill. Apparently there's a sunken bridge, sunken
narrowboat.
Sunken narrowboat coming up. So we've got to go past that slowly and just one at a time. There's not much traffic here. But we're approaching Ayleston Mill, which is interesting. If, a bit of an echo here.
Bridge. Echo, echo, echo.
Thank you, Linda. If you've read Tom Rolt's famous book Narrowboat, written in about his trips in 1939, and if you haven't, you should. He stayed just down here, came down this route, stayed at Ayleston Mill and caught a tram into Leicester to have a look round, but he wasn't that impressed with much of what he saw. I wonder what he'd think if he saw it today. But anyway, so Bridge 107 is just around the corner. Then we've got a sunken boat, so I better keep my eye open what's going on. So here's the sunken narrowboat. How awful. So not only is that, you know, somebody's trying to do, it's their home. Not always, but generally. Oh dear, poor, poor thing. That's a real tragedy, isn't it? Bumble Hole Wharf. Looks like there's been a fire at the front, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's set up fire.
Yeah?
It's definitely had a fire.
So yeah, we've had a fire and oh yeah, it's well burnt out. My heart goes out to whoever that boat was. It's just so sad. Must have been awful sitting there with a raging fire on a boat in the water. Oh dear. Well, I just spent about 15 minutes down the weed hatch again. Coming into this lock, I must have pulled up all stuck together weed, God knows what. I had to punt it with the pole to get into the lock. It just wouldn't move. And I'll show you what I've just pulled out. It took me about 10-15 minutes to pull it all out. You won't believe this. So that pile there is what I just pulled out of our weed hatch. It was a massive, great big bunch all around the rudder, around the weed hatch, around everything. Unbelievable. So another boat's coming now. Pretty cool really. That saves me doing the 2 gates myself while Linda's at Aldi. And I'm going to get off. But look at that pile. Well, that was a pretty hectic lock. I said I dropped Linda, I said you could nip to Aldi. All that time removing all that junk out the weed hatch, I've never seen so much. It was just wrapped around the prop, around the shaft, around the rudder. I had to get my hands right down to try to clear the rudder. I still think there was a bit wrapped around when I pulled out the lock. I mean, I think I messed that over boat up a little bit by trying to get in and out and pick Linda up. Anyway, all's going well now. Sun's out, still early. We had an early start today. It's only about 10:15. And looks like we'll be able to go through the locks with another boat behind me somewhere. Whew. I hope the rest of the day is not like that. I'm now going to stay very carefully in the middle of the canal where there's less weed, but it really does need de-weeding around here. So we're definitely Leicester now. Very, very windy at the next lock. And if you know Leicester City Football Club. There's their ground. Very industrial ahead. Right, let's get ready to go in the lock. Try to get blown across that weir. So we're on the Mile Strait, a very well-known stretch of the river, because it is a river now. We're on the River Soar. You can tell how much wider it is, can't you, Linda?
You can get 6 blooming narrow boats along here.
I think you could. So while I was struggling away getting all that weed out the weed hatch, Linda was struggling with heavy bags from Aldi.
Supermarket.
But she did bring back a load of beer for me, so what a hero she is, or heroine.
Water, milk and beer. Wow, that is a heavy...
Did very well. Well, this bit, I think I mentioned, built in 1890s for flood prevention purposes, but apparently it's really quite ornate with lots of bridges and interesting things to see. Can't see a whole lot yet, but we'll see. Should be quite nice. And at least being wide like this, there shouldn't be the horrible weed that keeps catching around the prop.
You mean that stuff?
Yeah, that stuff, and that stuff, and that stuff. Hey ho. So we're right in centre, De Montfort Uni. We think that mooring there is the Castle Gardens, which is a secure CRT, isn't it, Linda? Yeah. So that looks like the gardens, I don't know. So there's supposed to be 3 or 4 spots there, that looks right. Friars, what's it called afterwards, the other secure mooring?
Friars Mill.
So we've got Friars Mill ahead. Yeah, Castle Gardens, visitor mooring, 2 days. We probably could squeeze on the end if we were desperate. Just down there, but we're not. Hinckley A47. Ironically, we're not far from Hinckley where we set off. We're probably 10 miles away, if that, ain't we? And we've been travelling a week and a half, all the way down south, across, all the way up north to get here. Which on the train line is 1 station, where a car is about 10-15 minutes. Lots of big flats like you get in most cities these days. Little old mill building or something, not a mill, but an industrial building down there.
That's Friars Mill.
Ah, that probably is, because Friars Mill's a mooring. An old-fashioned mill. Very windy, we've been blown around a bit, but yeah, it's quite nice. That's the mile done, I think, now. The Leicester Mile. So we'll be coming out the other side of the city now, because that's quite near the centre where we've just been. Well, we just had a bit of a nightmare at this lock. Absolutely awful. You can see the leaking down that end. And we could not open these gates because there's more water coming in than leaving. And we tried everything.
Whoa.
Well, what a palaver that was. That lock, I mean, I filmed some of it in there, but then I had to stop and jump around.
We had about 7 burly men, really big beefy burly men, all trying to push it open.
I mean, that first chap,
there was more water coming in than was going out.
That first chap turned up, he was about 17 stone, I reckon. We thought, well, easy now. Nope. All pulled, all 3 of us, nope. And then got another recruit, nope. Another one, nope.
And then another 2.
Then some chap come past on his push bike. He was well hench actually, weren't he?
Yeah, he was
big guy.
And then another guy came.
And then we kept trying to jolt it. I said, no, you've all got to just lean and pull like Marielle. And we all pulled, and it moved.
And I went over to the other side and just pushed it gently.
Yeah, the other one afterwards. So that was, well, by Bridge 5, that lock.
It was lock 42, which unfortunately wasn't moving because more water was coming in than was going out.
Pouring in.
Absolutely pouring in.
I mean, that.
So beware anybody coming up to lock 42 near Bridge 5.
We need to let the CRT know, we will do, but because that is just impossible. I mean, there's a couple behind us who are coming down later on, you know, same kind of age group as us, and there's just no way. You need a rugby team. Anyway, I've begun to move back to Leicester in a couple of bridges now. But yeah, so that was our excitement. I'm not sure it's the excitement I wanted, really.
Oh! Hey, look, I got called a young girl.
Young girl.
Smashing looking young girl.
Oh, that chap with the white stick. Anyway.
Cheeky brass monkey.
So that's Leicester, and we're coming out the back end. We're still in the centre, but coming out to it now. And after that lock, I hope we have no more like that. Well, you can tell we're in a city. Shopping trolleys. What is the attraction of chucking shopping trolleys into canals? Anyway, plenty of muck and fill floating on the cut. I'll be quite glad to get out of Leicester. I've said that a few times. Nice industrial stuff on the right hand, you know, the old mill back there we passed. You can see a mill chimney in the future.
Wolsey one.
Wolsey, which is all your socks, isn't it? And
men's undergarments.
Okay. There was a lot of factories around here producing garments, clothing, stuff like that back in the day. Now all quite decrepit. But hey. So we've sort of left the city centre and it's very quickly turned rural. You can probably see behind me. Quickly turned rural. There's loads more built areas to go through, including Loughborough and things, but this is much nicer. The river is really clear and it's wide. So we've got a clear, wide river. You can see the bottom, you know, big stones and stuff. So it seems much better navigation than that weedy mess we were in. Very, very nice. Approaching lunchtime. Have to find some way to moor up. Looking forward to that. Well, we stopped at Birstall for lunch just after the lock, and it was quite distressing. I was eating our lunch and this young chap come along, young man, and he knocks on the boat. Hello mate, you seen a white boat? He says, no. He said, just parked in front of us. No. And basically his boat had been stolen. He said he'd been away in hospital for a bit, came out to come back to his boat and it had gone. 19-foot plastic cruiser.
Or a bob or two.
Bob or two, and not only had it gone, he said he lived aboard, it was his home, it was everything, he'd lost everything. Absolute devastation. The chap was shaking like you wouldn't believe, really, really upset, as you'd be. And obviously phoned the police. We're not going to do much, as this country's doing at the moment. CRT said, well, if somebody tries to sell it, we'll put a block on it. Just desperate. We took his name and number in case we come across it up here somewhere. We've certainly not passed that boat. I'm pretty certain, have we, the other way?
No,
we've only passed a few narrow boats and hardly any in 2 days. So we keep our eye open, but I ain't very hopeful. But if we do, we can contact him. But yeah, what a downer. Poor, poor man. Absolutely devastated. Just standing there going, I'm homeless. I've lost everything. Quite upsetting.
Good evening.
It's been a long afternoon, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's been really lovely. The scenery along the shore is fabulous. The only problem is there is very little mooring.
Yeah, we made a mistake. We'd had an early start and we said we'll just do 2 more locks, these 2 to close together, and then we'll moor up straight away after that. And what did we find straight after that?
No mooring.
Wide river.
No mooring, wide river.
And you can see behind us just all that looks like watercress and overgrown. So we're right at the back of a lock landing. It's not a lock landing, it's right at the back. It's the only place we've found in the last, 20 minutes?
Yeah. So, and it's Friday evening and there's a big glass of red wine with my name on it, so this is where we're staying. It's
a bit noisy, the A6 is up there. There's a weir behind us, which you can probably hear making a racket, but you know what? Sun's out, we've stopped. And that's enough for us today.
We've had a lovely day and
enough.
Enough's enough.
So if you've enjoyed our vlog today, you know what to do.
Press like.
And subscribe if you don't already. Bye.
Bye.